Beleza. Tá, molecada, vamos ver uma coisa que eu tô me segurando já tem mó tempão já, mas chega. Chega de me segurar. Que eu quero ver. Eu quero ver. Eu quero ver. Vamos nessa.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi, Jonathan Rogers. Come on, motherfucker. Bora ver aqui o que não foi visto. Path of Exile 2, meu jovem. Tá saindo da jaula a minha classe. Minha classe tá saindo da jaula. Vamos!
I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for. So let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2, The Last of the Druids.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Toma.
What's wrong with him?
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Caraca, meu irmão. Pô, acho que finalmente eu vou sair do meu mercenário, hein, velho. Meu dragão, os caralho, foda-se. Caraca, o dragão cospe fogo e raio, né, velho? Juntas, ali. Ô, pergunta. Essa bolinha de fogo aqui explode as granadas? Porque se explodir as granadas, meio que... Pô, maneiraço.
Você tá ligado, né, Deus? Se você quiser fazer o seu granadeiro transformar em dragão, pode, né?
Então, vamos ver aqui. É isso que eu tô já... Tô só imaginando aqui. Pera aí. Cara, ficou só o cocô lá.
I will find you, Eve.
Dia 12. E vai ser fim de semana grátis, hein, molecada? Pra quem não tá ligado,
Do weekend.
do dia 12 ao dia 15 o jogo vai estar de graça, hein? Pra quem quiser testar aí, ó, oportunidade já, mano.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world.
É, maguinho.
One of the first
É isso que me desagrada no Druida, tá ligado? Porque ele é maguinho, né, velho? Foda.
you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out.
Caraca, o
But
urso
how
tá
do you
muito
turn into an
maneiro.
animal?
O urso tá muito maneiro, velho. Caralho, o bicho tá parrudo, né, mano?
Turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use, animal talismans.
Ah, é a arma que faz o bicho transformar, né? Pode crer. Posso colocar arma secundária, então, no meu... fala.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell.
Caraca,
You
foi
will instantly
insta,
swap
né?
back.
Galeraço.
We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam.
Pode crer.
While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your furious slam. Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you
Eu
use
sei que não dá pra levar em consideração, né, o vídeo, assim, por ser uma apresentação. Parece que tá dando pouco dano, né?
Ah, mas é porque esse é pão, né?
É,
É pão.
sim. O Druid é o cara da natureza, usa todos os elementos. Se não fosse maguinho, você colocaria ele como no game? Não, eu não tô falando que não teve, que tem que ser. Só que como é o POI não é o Buildas, não é o senhor das builds, o senhor da diversidade. Então deixa lá o Druida. Mas se eu quiser fazer um mercenário pseudo-druida, entendeu? Essa que é a
Você
parada.
sabe o que eu vou fazer, né?
É.
Eu vou fazer uma maga do tempo que vira dragão, mano. Foda-se. Vou fazer uma
Não.
Drake cronomana.
O meu vai ser o Mercedruida, porra. Vai ser o Mercedruida, é granada nele e o dragão vai botar fogo. Assim, tu vai ver só, pô.
the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
É porque o dragão, eu não tava esperando pelo dragão, agora eu tô curioso pra ver qual é o dragão, que eu acho que vai ser a minha inclinação mesmo, cara. Dragãozinho, eu tô achando que vai me conquistar.
To stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
Toma, 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 toma.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the Fire God.
Caraca, mano, é uma armadura zona, velho. Caralho.
Muito foda, né?
Caralho,
É porque
cuzão.
tá ancestral.
You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the Fire God Cow. Ever wondered what the Karui God of War would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer.
Muito foda.
Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity.
Caralho, velho, dá pra fazer muita
This skill
parada.
summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Bear Apocalypse.
Bear is known for being a slower, more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the Druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we want it to go fast and furious. Even just the
Eu acho
wolf's
muito
basic
foda você ver
attack will
quando
leap
eles
forward
vão
and
separar.
rake his foes.
Eu nunca vi nenhum lobisomem que
After
fica com a
attacking,
mão
the
pra
wolf
trás,
stands
tá
up.
ligado?
Pode crer.
E aí,
Pica.
Zeus? Boa tarde.
Fala aí, Styley. Muito obrigado pelo sub, irmão. Tamo junto.
On 2 legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them.
O outro tá passando. É os 10,
Killing the
mano, os 10
marked
não sabe
enemy
jogar,
will
não,
summon a
ele só
wolf
sabe-
form to your side, allowing them to fight with you.
Os devs não sabem jogar, só sabe fazer. Humilde.
Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have, so make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash.
A,
Ficou muito
movimenta
foda essa visão
a
aí,
movimentação
mas-
dele andando, que ele vai andando em volta com o rosto pro lado assim, olhando, tá ligado? Caralho, muito maneiro, mano.
Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your
Será que ele
enemies.
tá pronto pro hardcore agora?
Os Zeus parecem os pro player do LoL, saindo da base sem comprar item. Hã? Não entendi.
Isso aí é referência antiga. Os Zeus não manjam de LOL, não, gente.
Como jogo pra jogar, todo dia após 2 é o jogo da minha vida fácil. Do jeito que eu jogo, dá pra jogar infinito. Já tem data de lançamento? Não tem data ainda, cara. Jogo lindo demais. Pô, mano, tá muito bravo.
Lunar
Cara.
Assault.
Parece que o Diabo
Then
vai
rake
sair
them to
junto.
create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies. If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off.
Pode crer.
Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a metagem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The Wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos.
O lobo tá maneiro pra caralho
Finally,
também,
the
né?
Wolf
O lobo tá maneiro pra caralho mesmo.
also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic
Caraca,
werewolf with lunar blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage.
Silver Wolf.
Caralho, os caras gastaram mesmo, mano. Porra, muito
The Arctic
foda,
Howl
mano.
Warcry will allow you to add
Caralho.
cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use
A
your other
movimentação
combos.
dele é muito voraz, né? Muito, eu não
Finally,
sei,
the wolf also has the ability to call down the
Parece
power of the
bicho de
moon
verdade,
to
né?
transform into an Arctic werewolf
Caralho,
with
meu
lunar
irmão.
blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra
maneiro,
cold
cara.
damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Dá pra montar um híbrido com as duas transformações. Achei que seria uma só, maneiraço.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a cool one. The Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range breath
Eu nunca vi um
abilities,
druida que vira dragão.
but that doesn't mean you can't get
Primeira
into
Também
melee
nunca
range
tinha
when you
visto
want
não,
to.
velho.
The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage.
Toma.
After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges.
pode crer,
And
ele
this is
come
when
o
the Wyvern's
cadáver,
abilities
tá.
really come
É
online.
o Wyvern, não dragão.
When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all.
Wyvern é uma criatura mítica tipo dragão. Tipo de dragão. De 2 pernas e 2 asas, que é o tipo dragão. Ah, tá. É que eu tava na dúvida. Beleza.
Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks.
Ah, entendi, pô. O Poodle não é um cachorro, é um Poodle, né? Ele é tipo cachorro, né? É igual o Hot Valley, também não é cachorro, é tipo cachorro, mas é um Hot Valley. Entendi, pô. Tá ligado? Não, saquei.
Você tá ligado que cachorro é um tipo de lobo, né? Você chama um cachorro de lobo.
Entendi.
Entendeu? Então, é a mesma lógica. Você não fala, olha o lobo, é um cachorro, porra. É um tipo de lobo.
Entendi. Meus ovos é um tipo
Tem
de
gente
quê?
chamando cachorro de filho aí, é foda.
Aí
Ganhou, aí acabou.
Ai.
Spit
Vai
balls of
estar na
fire
minha
that
tela,
bounce
eu
along
vou
the
chamar
ground.
de Jorge, mano.
Eu vou chamar de dragão essa porra e foda-se. Vai ser dragão. Quero só ver quem vai me impedir.
These balls will trigger volcanoes as well,
Faz isso,
so it's a
fala
good
pra
idea
mim.
to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
Olha lá, mano, essas bolinhas dele vai explodir as granadas, eu tenho certeza, velho.
Não, vai, com certeza.
Tá interagindo com o vulcãozinho ali, ó. Com certeza vai ter um esqueminha,
Melee
pô.
options, but how about range?
Certeza. Eu quero ver aquela
Well,
skill
you
que
wouldn't
ele...
be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after
Hã?
all.
Vai apaixonar, pô. Ela vai ter outra skill aí que vai...
Rolling magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a
Ah,
human
tá
right before
maneiraço
you
aí já,
start
tá?
spitting. But that's not all you can spit. You have
Ah, ele
something a
cospe
little
óleo também, ó.
nastier in that gullet
É
of yours.
exatamente o óleo, tá ligado?
Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges, though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused
Tá muito
projectiles.
bonito, né, velho?
The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks or channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a Druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your Wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making things wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further.
Muita skill, velho. Caraca.
Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage. Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last Wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so you have to take full advantage of them after all.
Ok.
So fly around and burn them.
Olha. Caraca, muito maneiro, mano.
Mano, esse Dracarys é muito foda.
Now, there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time.
Falta que você pode
In
colocar.
order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems.
Mas será que você vai poder colocar qualquer... Assim, não entendi? Você vai colocar qualquer skill no totem. É isso. Qualquer skill que você usaria no personagem, você coloca no totem.
Se tiver com a tagzinha lá, pode colocar pra summonar um meteoro lá de gelo, atacar bagulhinho de fogo.
Roubada.
We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast, but you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster.
Olha essas builds, né, velho? Cara, esse maluco gasta muito, né, brother? Que doideira, mano.
By sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along. And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost. Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover. Now with a new class comes new ascendancy classes. The Druid will have two options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are, and with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze,
você vê uma versão de você no futuro fazendo uma skill, e se você fizer a skill, você dá mais dano, é isso?
Exatamente. Eu achei isso muito foda, tá ligado?
Or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both. And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
Peraí, como é que é? Ao atribuir o caminho invisível, você usa o poder da...
Allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
Ah, abre uma árvore de passivas que não teria isso mesmo?
Exatamente, quer ver? Volta pra você ver lá onde mostra a árvore. É. Aí quando você vira ele, a árvore enche de coisa, quer ver?
Não sei se eu vi a mudança. Ah, tá.
My favorites. When you first become an oracle, you'll notice over 130
Caraca, mano. 130. Caralho, que doideira, mano. Pode crer, mano. Pode crer. Aí aparece
Mano,
um monte
isso
de...
aí é muito insano, velho. Eu nunca vi
Que viagem,
nada
velho.
parecido em lugar nenhum.
Cara, que doideira, velho.
new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the unseen path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or corruption endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting most
Que porra é essa, mané? Caraca, brother.
of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves
Caraca,
fishes around.
mané.
This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With
E esse é só um que eles resolveram mostrar, né? Caralho, meu brother.
every new release, we create a new
Loucura,
league
brother.
with new mechanics,
Loucura,
new
mané.
Pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
The palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn. The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Vaal. A gateway through time. Travel into the past again and again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded.
Essa é a nova mecânica da liga, no caso, né?
Isso, aham.
Again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You
Essa
may have
bichinha aí,
studied it,
Vou preparar o
Dorian,
lombo, viu?
but you do not know it like I do. It adores me.
Que isso, mulher?
Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
Fate of the Vaal. É, meu irmão, o bagulho é
Hi,
louco.
I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. In the Fate of the Vaal League, you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Vaal. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore. Place paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are
você monta o caminho mesmo que você vai percorrer lá dentro, né? Pode crer, mano.
happy with your choices, open the temple, and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you, and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command. With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
Pode crer. É, basicamente, assim, tem várias combinações, né? Tipo, pra você upar uma sala e deixar ela mais forte. Só que você não precisa guardar isso de cabeça. Quando você pega o bagulho, ele já ilumina de verde quais são as salas que se combinam já pra ficar... Você não tem que gravar. É só de você passar o mouse em cima, ele vai dizer o que vai fazer. Você não precisa decorar essa porra, né?
After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Vaal, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Atziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Atziri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
Caraca, olha essa porra lá, né? Caralho.
É muito foda, não tem como não.
Atziri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her.
Atziri.
And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms, but while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Vaal technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time,
corromper
adding
duas
another
vezes.
enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be warned, the Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power.
Pode quebrar, né?
There is a 50% chance that the item will
Claro.
be destroyed. Each room has its own
50%.
interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities. For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalitzi's Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sitaqualotl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires. Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal you need, modifying it in unpredictable ways.
Pô, mas essa parada aqui, cara, parece muito extenso, né? Tipo, do nível que você vai ficar aqui dentro e não vai nem ver lá fora direito. De tanta parada que tem pra fazer aqui dentro, né? Isso aqui é só uma parada, né? Todos os outros
geralmente no PoE é assim, né? Tipo,
quando sai a liga
quando
nova
você
no
chega
caso.
no
né?
endgame, né? Quando você chega no endgame, você escolhe um tipo de mecânica e uma liga
Foda-se.
fica dentro dela e foda-se, tá ligado?
Pode crer. Sinistro, né?
One of the mods
muito
of
rara
this
a
unique will
mecânica
be
que ela interage
removed
só com o
and
mapa, né?
replaced
Tipo,
with another random mod.
Caralho.
For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you
Mas
replace.
essa é a ideia mesmo, porque o endgame não teve mudanças, pode crer. É sobre isso, escolha a mecânica que você mais gosta e fique fazendo full nela. O jogo tá perfeito, foda-se. Por que não lançou logo?
The downside.
Velho, é verdade,
Now,
né?
one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want. Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab. Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself?
Caraca,
After laying
mano.
down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely.
Saiu novo.
After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
Ih, olha lá, nada a ver.
You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe
Depois
get
que eu
a
vi
better
cara
one next
reclamando,
time.
foi disso também.
É, nada a ver, pô. O Baco trocou seu braço, vai morrer e vai voltar de novo o braço, pô. Nada a ver.
Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways. Using a Quiperlatl's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight.
Toma, olha o dano.
Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it. Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game.
Certo.
In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match. Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters. We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure, and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new Pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Atziri, while she was at the peak of her power. One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Atziri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards. This is Atziri's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So, that's the Fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game, along with a few changes. Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore. Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame. If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree. You can gain...
Mano, quando esse jogo for lançado, velho, assim, vai ser insanidade, mano. Já é insanidade agora, na real, né? Já é insanidade de coisa que tem no jogo, é absurdo, mano.
Gain your first points by completing an Abyss. But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud
Os devs do pai não tem sofá. Humilde.
Clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter. Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency. Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, So we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement.
Humilde.
But on that note, Fate of the Vaal does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey. Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life.
Okay.
In addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we would need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured.
Ainda não deu tempo de terminar tudo, galera. Foi mal, desculpa. Ainda não deu tempo, vai ter que ficar para a próxima atualização. Fogo, né, cara?
There will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new Pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance. And we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores. You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher, and a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers. As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active...
Eu acho que balanceamento nesse jogo é um trabalho infinito, né, mano? Trabalho infinito mesmo, né, cara? Nunca vai estar 100% bom e sempre vai estar acontecendo alguma coisa. Não tem como, né? Olha a quantidade de coisa que dá pra fazer, né, velho? De possibilidade. Como é que deixa isso 100% balanceado, né?
Skills across all the different classes. And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Caraca, meu irmão! 250? Eu vi isso mesmo? Caralho!
And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Caraca, meu irmão!
These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety that can tackle our most challenging content. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of support.
A árvore era pequena, você lembra de eu falar pra você que tinha pouca opção? Porque, caralho, pouca opção parece muita, mas quando você entende a árvore, né, que ela é direcionada, essa daí muito mais, né, do que a do 1.
Sim.
Você vê, pô, tem pouca opção, mas ela tanto que tem, é muito foda.
São mais 2 pontos geral na linha do Druida, mas 130 pontos mudam com o ponto do oráculo.
Supporter packs. the Precursor, and Kalgurin packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive
Gastar dinheiro, né,
microtransactions.
molecadinha? Vambora, né?
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. First up, the Marble Statue Character Effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble. When you next move, a stone tumbles around you. The Precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation.
Caraca, olha isso, velho.
Gravity well pull. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
Caraca, olha que da hora,
Draw in
mano.
enemies with your
Quando você
own
chega
gravity.
perto é como um buraco negro puxando, né? O bagulho vai, sei lá, puxado, né, pra dentro do barato. Caralho, que gastação, né?
Now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
Muito foda, mano.
Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings. This one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items. The Relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalgurin pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Kalgurins had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the Astronomer's Level Up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat. The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalgurin fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Kalgurin seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg. The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, two-hand maces, and shields. After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a Kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant Kraken, waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs. Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
Tá, pô. Mais seco, bobo.
If you decide to follow this path,
Acabou secão.
Toma, finalizei.
Toma, acabou, foi, valeu, tchau. Dane-se. Cara, muito brabo, né, mano? Porra, maneiraço, cara, maneiraço. Ué, Path of Exile 2 Situation is just insane. Ué, o que tá insano? Tá ruim? O que tá ruim? Eu tô aqui.
Então, é dia 12 a atualização, né?
É.
Então, dia 12 vai dar uma tempestade aqui fodida, velho. Vou ficar sem energia até janeiro. Bota fé.
Eu fiquei sabendo.
Foda. Interior é complicado. Interior é foda.
É pesado,
Nada
né?
aqui.
Me dá uma
eu já tô
pegada,
avisando
né?
com antecedência.
Entendi. Não, bom. Ainda bem que você avisou com antecedência.
Tá lógico.
Jogador médio de pó. Não vou querer saber disso agora, não. Depois a gente vê isso aí. Sempre tem uma treta, né? Tem que ter algum problema, né? Mas é isso, molecada. Tá aí, dia 12, tá chegando a atualização. Lembrando que dia 12, que é uma sexta-feira, né? Sexta-feira vai ficar no dia 12, 13, 14 e 15, cara, de graça o jogo. Eu vi alguém perguntando, mas o jogo não ia ser de graça? Então, o jogo vai ser de graça quando ele for lançado, galera. Agora ele não tá lançado ainda, o jogo não tá pronto ainda, ele está em Early Access, ele ainda tá em desenvolvimento. Por incrível que pareça, esse jogo não tá pronto ainda, né? Então ele vai estar pronto só em algum momento ele vai estar pronto. Isso aqui ainda é só o caldo, né? Então, por enquanto, tem que pagar. Você paga o quê? R$80, né? Tá 80 conto ainda? Deixa eu ver. Se você comprar pela Steam, que eu acho que é o que a maioria faz, né? Path of Exile 2, 80 conto, é isso mesmo. Tá R$80, beleza? E o legal é, esses R$80 que você paga, vira cash pra você gastar no jogo. Tipo, é como se você estivesse comprando cash, no final das contas. Porque o valor vira cash integral pra você gastar lá à vontade. Então, cara, tá dado. Mas se você tiver na dúvida, espera o dia 12. Do dia 12 ao dia 15 você vai conseguir jogar de graça. Aí você decide aí se você quer ou não gastar seu dinheiro, que provavelmente você vai querer. Mas é isso, brabíssimo, cara. Muito foda mesmo. Druidinha. O Druida tá chegando, tá? Pode ficar aí tranquilo. Druida is in the house. O Ziran tá fazendo um guiazão no YouTube. Aí, ó. Ziran, brabo. Já joga o link aí, ô Ziran. Joga o link aí pra galera aí, pô. Já solta o link aí. Galera, vocês que gostam de fazer guiazinho, seguir, pá, segue aí. Porque a gente aqui é vida louca, né? Aqui na live a gente segue o feeling. Mas você que quer seguir um caminhozinho bonitinho, ó, cola aí no canal do Ziran, já se atualiza. Mas tá barato por aí, tá baratíssimo. Não tá barato não, tá dado, na real, né? Tá dado, né? Tá de graça. Tá dado, pô, tá dado, pelo amor de Deus. Muito maneiro. Bem, galera, com esse react brabo aí da Liga do Pó, eu meto o pé. Vou me distanciar por hoje, porque a gente ainda tem que produzir, né, pra semana, né? Que a semana tá chegando aí e vocês estão com fome, né? A galera tá com fome de conteúdo, né? Eu não posso pestanejar. Então, meus jovens, por hoje é só. Vou meter o pé. Deu pra gente tirar o atraso aí, eu acho, de quase tudo que aconteceu essa semana, né? Semana complicada, semana lotada. Mas acho que deu pra gente dar uma atualizada boa. Amanhã, live normal, a partir das 8 horas. Estamos aí.